Hello everyone, I'm Jilson. Download the source file below in the description. Let's get started. Now it's time to learn how to use a pivot table. I'm in the pivot table worksheet. Pivot tables are one of the most important resources here. With pivot table you can analyze a small number of data or millions of data. You'll be surprised with pivot table. To create a pivot table, you can go to Insert. At the first option, Pivot Table, you click here. Excel confirm the interval of your data. In my case, everything is fine. Excel highlight here. You can create a pivot table on a new worksheet or put this existing worksheet. In my case, if I want, I can put my pivot table here, but normally I create new worksheet, or everyone create a new worksheet to use this pivot table. I click in OK. Excel create a new worksheet. I can click and drag for the end, and I can double click to rename this pivot table and press enter. This new worksheet we use it for analyzing your data. I have different items here. At the top you have two new tabs: pivot table analysis and design. Here you have pivot table fields and pivot table, this icon here. First, to understand pivot table, this field represent the header here: reservation ID, date, guest name. These headers with column name represent these fields in pivot table. You can use both to analyze all information. First, I want to analyze the total of my reservation. I have a lot of reservation, but I don't know the total. With pivot table, you can simply click here, check total, and Excel resume this information and calculate this total for you. Instead of click, you can click, hold your mouse and drag two values. It's the same. I want you to analyze the total by city. I have rows and columns. You can make your table dynamic with pivot table. I want you to see the names here. I can check and quickly Excel put the name of the city and the total or reservation of this city. But imagine I don't want this by rows. I want this by column. I can click and move to the columns, and now I have this by columns: the name of the city and the total. Doesn't matter a small number of data or millions of data, Excel do the sum quickly. It's an amazing feature. But I remove this. Imagine I want to this analysis by states. I can check, and now I have my analyze this total by state. I will choose this by city again, but imagine you want to group this information by status. I can select the status and put this before the city. I have canceled first, confirm the total, and sum of total. This information is amazing. It's an interesting feature to understand and analyze. If you don't know status, the rows, and you want the status as a filter, you can move this status as a filter here, and now you have all reservation, and you have the opportunity to select all kind of reservation. I want to analyze only confirm. I can choose and click OK. Now I have this amount of result, and I click cancel. I can choose another status, and I can analyze all reservation. This is amazing feature. You can use it for manipulation all information. But imagine you want to know the numbers of reservation. I have the total, but I don't know the numbers. I don't have this information here in my reservation table. I want to calculate this. I will use the column reservation ID because each reservation has a unique number. I can select reservation ID and put here. Normally operation is some Excel try to summarize these reservation numbers, but I don't do this. I want you to count. I can click in this icon and change this value field settings. Instead of summarize, I can change the operation of this. I can use a count or other operation I want. I have a list of operation, and I can click in OK. And now I see the count of reservation. If I want to change this here, I can click with the right button and select value field settings and I can go to the same resource. I can delete this and update the column name from here. I can choose this. Now I know my total reservation from which city. Another important feature you can do here is you can use a data column. For example, I have the data of my reservation. Here I have this column, and I can use this instead of the values here in the columns. I can remove this and I can use the reservation date here in the column. Now I know my entire period of this reservation, but if I click with the right button and choosing group these options, I can group this for month or for day or for quarters or years if I have a lot of data. With this I have a small number of reservations, for example only January, but if I have other months of the year, let me put the total here in the value. I can see these numbers for month. I can make this analysis 1 month or 2 months because I have only a month. All my sales are from January, but if I have another month, I can analyze this. If you close this field list panel, you can click on PivotTable, and the first option here, field list, you go back to this PivotTable fields. If you click outside of PivotTable, this disappears. If you click inside your PivotTable, it's the show again. If you click in design, you can change the styles of your PivotTable. I can select a different format style here from the list compared to the previous normal table. I choose this. You can include or remove banded columns or rows. You can decide which style you want to apply. You can include others elements. You can navigate and explore this for yourself. This is easy. This is very interesting resources here on Excel. Now another important resources here is how to create pivot chart. I continue here with my pivot table. I increase the zoom a little to more clear for you, and I can click here on insert. I have options here, pivot chart. If I click here, pivot chart, Excel display recommended chart for me. I can choose one pivot chart and clicking OK. I can click and drag. I will resize this a little to be more clear for you because a lot of data. And I can format this chart like I'll show you before, but I can change this for other formatting. I can choose a different style of the chart quickly. Only click, select, and Excel show how this information will be with these settings. I can select another pivot chart. You can choose different format. I will resize this a little. Let me verify. Just a second. A small, a little bit. With the right button, I can click here and choose number format. I can reduce decimal place here. With this, my value will be more clear here. Now it's okay. This is better for me. I can manipulation this information with the city. I can apply filters here. If I want to know data about specific cities, I can uncheck this to unselect cities, and I can analyze, for example, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Chicago. I can select this. Now I have this analysis focus on these cities. When I apply a filter on my pivot chart, this filter apply to my pivot table because both are connected. I can remove this if I want. I can click filter. I can filter by the status, only analysis confirm, and select this. This is amazing and interesting to analyze your data. If I have others month here, I can choose the specific period I want to analyze. This is how to use it and how to create pivot chart. More powerful compared to traditional chart. Pivot table and pivot chart are very powerful resources. You can use it to analyze your data. That's it. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe in my channel so you can receive new contents like this every weekend. And if you want to continue practice with me, you can watch my full courses Excel for Beginners, completely free, with the link below in the description, and you can see the link at the right corner. See you in the next lesson. Bye!